So I played around with a couple other online apps, and they would write play scripts or film scripts, and another one would write song lyrics. And those had more shoddy results. You know, they weren't quite sounding like a human being would write, but they're getting there. And the more that develops, the more that humans will be able to borrow from these AI machines to help in their creative process. And then eventually it will one day wipe out writers all over. I don't know. Yeah, we're still going to need somebody to make the prompts to feed the ideas into these AIs, but maybe one day AI will write things for us that are better than the things that we can write ourselves. I hope not, but it could be. Now there's a paid version and a free version, and the free version only allows you 50 prompts, but you need probably maybe like 200 prompts to really get a smooth sounding voice, which you can pay to do.
The moment we come out of the theater or cinema after watching a movie, we find that it's all fake.
I didn't do that, and that's why my voice sounds a little bit robotic, a little bit more AI-like.
First, it will change the way people act on stage or in front of a camera by removing any trace human emotion.
But it's pretty amazing. You can tell that it's me speaking. It uses my vocal patterns.
This is the text I want to use to speak to you.
And Resemble AI also allows you to go in, you can take the text and highlight words that you want emphasized.
This is the text I want to use to speak to you.
You can add emotional tone to your words, give it a little bit more happiness, a little bit more anger.
This is the text I want to use to speak to you.
You can change the tempo and all those kind of crazy things. So you can tweak this to make it sound really realistic if you want to go that extra step. Now, the character that I created is kind of a close proximity to my facial features and stuff. I couldn't quite get it exact using the Fuse software. But these days, characters are reaching photorealistic levels using software like Unity and Unreal game engines to create game characters and other 3D softwares to animate facial features for films. This technology is getting to the point where you can almost not distinguish between a real person and a fake person. To be able to animate that technology using just your own facial features, to be able to animate a photorealistic character that doesn't look like you is going to be pretty much something that anybody can do eventually. The first one I tried is called Computoser, and it allows you to just pick a style and some instrumentation, and it spits out kind of a MIDI sounding file that didn't quite always have the tonality that would be pleasing to hear or something like that. So it had mixed results in my opinion, but it was pretty interesting to see that that would work so quickly. So these music sites are still a little rudimentary, but I imagine once the patches of instrumentation that they use get up to the level of something, say Logic or GarageBand or something like that, where you have realistic sounding instrumentations, adding this AI element in will be able to create some pretty compelling compositions and at least give composers ideas for how they can create new music. And you know what, since it's created by AI at this point in time, there's no copyright issues either. It's going to create something unique. So Adobe has, in the latest version of Photoshop 2021, they have a neural engine that uses AI to analyze photos. It allows you to cut out images with high fidelity, including hair and things like that. They have a facial alteration component that you can add makeup, you can apply color correction to certain parts of the face, you can remove wrinkles and eye bags and things like that. And you can also take the liquify tool, which uses AI elements as well, to morph your image and make the eyes bigger, make the mouth bigger, make it into sort of this cartoony looking thing. Now, not everything in Photoshop is AI based. Even the liquify tool is something that you go in and you do it yourself, but a lot of it is based on neural engines that analyze photos and find the elements of a photo, like the eyes on a person, and allow you to just adjust those eyes much easier than you used to have to do when you did it all manually. There's a new software program coming out this winter called Luminar AI, which allows you to create all sorts of photo effects that would take hours using traditional editing techniques in Photoshop. You can now apply these techniques with sliders and buttons and one clicks and stuff. The AI will crop your photo to the right size, will add sky replacements, will change your coloring, all that stuff, and it's amazingly well done. So when these same techniques are available to use in video, you'll start seeing videos created and edited and special effects made by AI, analyzing video and giving you, the best color palette and the best depth of field and all kinds of things like that. It's going to be an exciting time, and it's going to be very hard these days to distinguish between what is real and what is not real. Which leads me to talk about deep fakes and that technology that's out there. In deep fakes, you take a series of photos of a person from different angles and you pop them into a computer, it analyzes it, and it can build sort of a semblance, a morphing of those photos to create a human being. Then you can put your own facial features, your own acting, and apply it to this character.
Now, you see, I would never say these things, at least not in a public address, but someone else would. Someone like Jordan Peele. This is a dangerous time. Moving forward, we need to be more vigilant with what we trust from the internet. That's a time when we need to rely on trusted news sources.
Whereas some of the new techniques in AI are going to basically be able to take a photorealistic rendering, a 3D model of a character, and you will be able to just animate it using your own performance. So there's still going to be a need for an actor to come in and do this work to translate it. Just like in CGI now, Andy Serkis is an example. He does the characters like Gollum and King Kong and things like that. So he acts out these characters with motion dots put all over his face, and then the characters are animated on afterwards. But imagine if you can take a character and animate it in real time, so that you just do your acting as an actor and a character completely replaces it. The voice is completely different. The character is completely different.
Hello, I'm Siren, and I'm a digital human. I've got state-of-the-art real-time graphics and an unprecedented level of detail in my eyes, skin, and hair. I'm actually being driven by a real human actress and her dynamic motion capture through Unreal Engine.
We're almost there. We pretty much are there. It's just, it's expensive technology right now that only, large film studios have access to, but it's coming down. It's starting to become consumer level each and every day. Let me show you a clip of myself talking again, and I'm going to show you how you can use this technology to modify your face in video in real time. I was able to add color correction. I could soften my facial features or harden them. I could apply makeup to my lips and my cheeks. In the process of editing, I can track my face using AI and then apply these elements to it without having to do any kind of masking or special work, which basically saves a lot of time for an editor to touch up somebody's appearance. But you can see that eventually you're going to be able to take these you're going to be able to make a character look older or younger and apply that. You're going to be able to change the gender of somebody or the race of somebody in real time. And this kind of technology, this facial technology, is great. Not only can AI analyze your face and your movements, and that's kind of used in surveillance technology and social networks to identify fake photos and fake profiles and stuff, but you can actually create faces using AI. There's a site called Generated Photos, which creates fake faces. These are actual faces that are created by AI based on hundreds of thousands of photos of different people. You can choose a race, a gender, an age, and several other defining factors, and it will spit out a bunch of different faces for you. And then you can use those faces in your advertisements, your profiles, whatever you want to do. Again, these are technologies that have the potential to be very, very dangerous for society, but also very beneficial as well. So imagine not having to pay a performer to model in an ad. You can just generate an AI version, and that's bad for actors in particular. But it's also bad for like social networks, because people can fake accounts and use pictures from people that don't even exist. That's crazy. And the thing is they're convincing photos too. Can you really tell the difference? Can you tell who's fake and who's real? That's crazy stuff. It's crazy stuff.